Hey guys, SimmersDim Gaming here, back with another Resident Evil video, and as the title of the video suggests, we are going to be talking about the GOG Resident Evil 1 port. This is part of the original trilogy ports that came out last year. I do plan to do a video on all three of them, as I have played all three of them and I have my opinions on them, but I thought where better to start than the original Resident Evil 1, but the PC port. So let's get into it. I think out of all of the ports, the Resident Evil 1 port is very similar to the non-director's cut PS1 release. What I mean by that is the amount of unlocks and things like that. So there's a few different versions of Resident Evil 1. You have the original PlayStation release, you have director's cut, you have the Sega Saturn release, and then you have the DS Deadly Silence one too, and now you have the PC port. If I had to compare them all, I would say this one is very similar to the original PS1 non-director's cut release. It just has a couple of extras that you only get on this. When I say extras, I mean unlocks. In the terms of the unlocks, you get the unlimited ammo rocket launcher and the two normal costumes from the original Resident Evil 1 PlayStation port. Then you also get two new costumes and two new weapons, which are both unlimited ammo. These are exclusive to the PC port. I believe they are exclusive to the original PC port and the GOG one. So Chris and Jill both get new stuff. Jill gets a Mac 11, they call it the Ingram in this. It's unlimited ammo, and she gets a new costume, which you can see in the screenshot. To unlock the Uzi, we'll just call it the Uzi from now on. You have to complete the game as Jill in under 4 hours, and then you unlock it. And with Chris, it's exactly the same for his weapon. His weapon is the M249 machine gun. In this, it's called the Mini-Me. And he gets a costume which is kind of similar to his leather jacket, but it's basically just a different leather jacket with a different design on the back. Apart from that, the game plays out exactly the same as any of the other ports. The thing that I wish they did, I wish they included some more extras. So for example, the DS port has a couple of cool modes. I know because it's a PC port it might not have worked because they were playing around using the actual dual screen DS system, so I guess that makes sense why they're not in there. But saying that, there is a kind of battle mode on the Sega Saturn port which is kind of cool. You basically fight through the mansion and you also get to fight a gold tyrant. That would have been a really cool mode to add to this. But I get also it's not in the PC port, so maybe that's why they just did a copy and paste port from the original PC port to this one. Just would have been cool. However, in total, this is a really good port. It's quite nice to be able to actually play the original Resident Evil 1 the way it was intended to be played. What I mean by that is, yes, I have the original on PlayStation and the director's cut, and I have all of the remakes on consoles, but I'm mainly a PC player, so it's really nice to be able to literally just play the game, like load it up, play it, and if I want to stream it, it's a lot easier, because you can emulate the game, but a lot of the emulators, they'll be a little bit janky, so the sprites can be moved, so they are in the same position, but they're not on your screen. And the item box lid can be out of place, and some of the doors can be moved, things like that. It's kind of annoying when you're streaming it, because aesthetically it just is off, and it's kind of annoying. But it's nice to be able to just load this up and be able to play it. One of the things I'm glad about, even though I like the director's cut, I'm really glad the PC port uses the original score from the original PS1 release. Because some of the director's cut tracks, the basement area, is some of the worst music I've heard, and it probably is the worst Resident Evil soundtrack out of all of them. So kudos for them when they were making the PC port, and kudos to GOG for not getting anything changed like that. I don't know if it would have been in their power to do that, but thank God that it didn't, because the original Resident Evil 1 soundtrack is superior to Director's Cut. All in all, I think it's a good thing that this is now easily attainable. It's not stupid money either. I think at the time I got the trilogy, it was $22.99, and that's $22.99 Great British pounds. I don't know what it would be US dollars or Canadian dollars or anything like that, but that's a reasonable price to get 3 really good games in an age now as well where probably more players are going to get introduced to the Resident Evil games with the 1, 2 and 3 remake. This just means that you can actually experience the original titles in all their glory, and I always recommend to anyone getting into Resident Evil to try the originals. You'll actually appreciate the remakes a lot more when you've played the originals. That's just my thoughts on the original Resident Evil 1 GOG port. It's good. I wish they could have added some more stuff, but if you want an authentic port, this is the one for you if you want to play it on PC. I now will probably never emulate Resident Evil 1 unless I want to, for example, play the Sega Saturn one and play the battle mode, because I don't own a real Saturn and I don't own a real copy of the Saturn port, and it's probably super expensive, so that would probably be the only time I'd emulate it. But that's it for the video, guys. I'm going to go play some more Resident Evil 1 and probably die trying to do a knife run. Mr. Simmons Dim Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.